missed last week, you know we moved pretty fast. So this week, you'll see last week's Monster Truck Finals. Also, some dragster tractor pullers. I also saw around here some side-by-side sand drags. And you know what else? I'm telling you, I'm not sure where they are, but I saw some lawnmower drag races. What is that all about? I swear to you, lawnmower drag races. So kick back, sit down, you're gonna love this stuff. Now, if you missed last week, I'm sorry about that, but here's an update on what happened.
Awesome, dude.
Crashes, crashes, crashes galore, things being crunched out there. Cool. All right, let's go to the guys in the booth. Mike Hogwood and Scott Douglas. How you doing, guys?
Dan, like you, we're doing great and fired up for another night of Monster Jam. As Dan said, I'm Mike Hogwood, along with Scott Douglas. We'll be calling the action tonight. We've got some great semifinal runs coming up in the monster trucks. How about Bulldozer going up against Gravedigger?
One of the all-time legends, the Gravedigger, will try and knock off one of the real new kids on the block, the impressive Bulldozer. That ought to be a dandy. In our first semifinal, Monster Patrol and Barefoot will be a war.
Yeah, and that war is coming up next on TNN's Motor Madness Monster Jam. Get ready for some semifinal runs. For the semifinals, there are our matchups. This first semifinal, Scott's going to be a great one.
It's going to be a dandy. Tom Mintz brings the Monster Patrol to the starting line out of Paxton, Illinois. The big Chevrolet will square off against that powerful Dodge. And as you saw last week, Todd FROLIK can make Barefoot fly, especially on the second half of this race course. This is going to be a great matchup. The winner goes to the finals.
It's really hard to pick who would be a favorite in this, I think.
No, I think it's an absolute toss-up. Here we go. Showtime. Good start by Barefoot. And he's stronger on the second half of the course.
And again, we're on this U course, so that turn is very important, and they are in a dead heat. Who wins? It's pretty tough to tell there.
It is, but the word coming down is that the win goes to Barefoot. I think we're going to get another look at it in a moment because it had to be a photo finish. Barefoot and Monster Patrol actually crossed the finish line at virtually the same time. I mean, this is hundredths of a second separation.
I was going to say, if you could see Barefoot winning, you got a lot better eyes than I got. Man, that was as close as they can. Look at the hands going up in the air by Tom Mintz. He doesn't understand who won. Watch now on the replay as they come down the home stretch, dead even as they're in the air.
And take your pick. I mean, throw a blanket over them. They came across together. Another angle, and Barefoot, again, it's that momentum he gets flying through the air that it looks like right at the finish gave him just maybe a 6-inch victory. Wow.
I was right. Hard break for Monster Patrol, but Todd FROLIK in Barefoot looks pretty strong. Well, Dan Moriarty's trying to catch up with Todd FROLIK. He has him now, so let's go down to Dan Moriarty.
Todd, one more time over the jumps. You're going sky high.
Yeah, we're getting some pretty good air out there. A lot of people don't know, but Monster Patrol and Barefoot are from the same team, so that was a good race. Tom's got a sick motor tonight, but I still got it.
You got him right in midair.
In midair. I seen him come around that corner, he took me, and I'm like, man, I got to do it again from behind, so maybe we'll come from behind one more time.
You care who you meet in the finals?
I'd like to meet Digger.
Bingo.
Well, What a run by Barefoot, and there is Digger, who he was talking about.
Yeah. Todd, be careful what you wish for, because you just may get it. Pablo HUFFAKER pulls to the line against Guy Wood in the Bulldozer. By the way, when they officially ran those times, 9.04 for Barefoot in that last round was the fastest run of the entire event.
Let's see what Gravedigger can do as they come off the line. And at the start, Gravedigger looks pretty strong, but Bulldozer keeping right up. Who's got the horsepower? It's going to be Gravedigger.
You know, the Dennis Anderson-based Gravedigger team always prides itself on being able to adapt to any course, and driver Pablo HUFFAKER has really taken to this course. I mean, start to finish, he's looked the best of any of the trucks. Got
through the turn well and then showed that great horsepower down the home stretch to pull away and really win rather easily. So it'll be Gravedigger and Barefoot in the finals. Pablo HUFFAKER, as we look at it again. Here comes Pablo down the stretch, and you can see the horsepower as he's up in the air. Let's go down to Dan Moriarty.
Pablo, you're in the finals.
Hey, great. I like to see that. Hopefully we can get another run like we did there. Truck's making a lot of ground speed when I pull high gear coming out of that turn. I'm ready to give Tom a run for his money.
I'm telling you, Todd said, I hope Digger wins this one. I want to meet him in the finals.
Who am I running? Todd with Barefoot? Oh, man, I hate to have to take him out in the finals.
He just told me before you ran, he was hoping it was you.
Well, that's good. I like racing Todd. He's really competitive. I'll tell you what, though, his big Hemi in that truck's tough to hang with. If we get into that turn at the same time, it could be bad.
He's gone 3 rounds beating guys on the jump is where he won those races all 3 times in the air.
Is he getting them on the finish? Maybe I can get him over the first set and race him over the finish.
All right, we've got a great final set up, and we come back, we're pulling some sleds with unlimited dragsters. Stay tuned. We're at the Astrodome in Houston, Texas. Mike Hogwood and Scott Douglas, and we're getting ready for dragster tractors. Well, this is something to see who is the strongest.
No question about it. You talk about just pure, awesome, raw power, multi-engine dragster tractors. And here we go with Doug Downs out of Taylorsville, Illinois, and the Predator. That was an outstanding pull all the way to the end, although quite a bit of smoke at the end of it.
Yeah, he burned that engine pretty good, too. Doug Downs in Predator. Pretty decent run, and let's take a look at it again.
Really gets it, doesn't get those front wheels too high. That's critical to keep that weight balanced, and really touches it down nicely. The other thing, you saw no wiggle and wagging in the run. It was perfectly straight. That's what you want to do. Find a good line in this track, and then just keep her nice and straight and get the power to the ground.
Here's Rodney Martin with the Martin brothers out of Bonnie, Illinois. See the eyes and the focus that he has.
Anytime Rodney gets his hand on that throttle, he's a threat to win. One of the strongest year in and year out, the Martin brothers machine, and here he goes. Oh, that's sweet. This is a super run, Mike. Right to the edge and the end of the track. Look at that, 304 feet and change.
Wow, Rodney Martin so far looks like the guy to beat in this event. Let's take a look at it again, and you will see the power, and again, the great run over 304 feet.
Just so much power gets to those huge back wheels, and it's critical that you come off that line, just kind of ease that throttle, and then continue. You watch the hand of the driver, and they'll really push it through the run.
This is one bad bear. His name is Dave Richardson, and he's got a mark to beat that was just set by Rodney Martin. We'll see if he has the power in that machine to do it.
Good old boys out of Litchfield, Kentucky. An awful lot of great pullers over the years come out of the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and Dave with the Kodiak team, just another one. Now there he's got his hand. Now watch, he's going to want to ease that throttle at the start, because if you hit it too hard, you'll just spin those wheels and you'll lose a lot of distance by the time you get to the end of the run. Very important to get off the line smooth and get all that weight moving with you. Here he goes. Oh, that's well short, well short.
Not near the mark set so far by Rodney Martin. That's only a little over 241 feet. Just didn't have the power, as you see, and although he was trying not to spin those wheels, they had a pretty good spin there when they started.
You know, the 5 engines, it looks like there's smoke coming off at least one of them. And another thing is you've got to get that front end raising up a little bit. You don't want it getting too high, but all 4 wheels of his stayed on the ground the whole time. That's not a good sign for a lot of distance either.
Backing up to hook onto the sled is Tom Bollinger. It's called the Money Pit. He's hoping to make maybe a little bit of money here, and I hope that engine holds together. And so far, Rodney Martin has set the mark to beat, and it's not going to be easy. So there's a lot of focus and concentration. Bollinger wants to make sure he gets started just right.
Stonington, Illinois, the home base for the Money Pit team. Bollinger, to get up with the big boys, is going to have to get around that 300-foot mark.
Looks like he gets a pretty good start, and those front wheels are up in the air. But he, too, is going to be short.
Yeah, just nothing on the back end for some reason there. When he kind of got it going, it just kind of all phased out on him at the 248 mark. We'll get another look at it. Did not see any problem coming off the start. It looked like he got a nice break, but just never really had a lot of momentum generated. And as that transfer case comes up, once those weights slap all the way to the back, you're not going a whole heck of a lot farther.
Yeah, it's over. So
drops that pan down, and you're just not going any further.
A little bit of a disappointment for Tom Bollinger. Next up, the Texas Bullwhip. A lot of fans here in the Astrodome. His name is Don Nelson.
Gotta love that name, Texas Bullwhip.
I love the way this tractor looks.
Problem with it is there's only 2 engines, as you'll see, and he is a bit underpowered against some of the guys that he's going up against. But I'll tell you, this big Texan's going to try and give it his best shot right here, and I'm sure he's got a lot of fans in the stands here in the Astrodome. Let's see how he can do it. You know, he may think that, hey, 2 great engines are better than 4 mediocre ones. Let's let her go.
Already a little smoke pouring out of some of those engines. We'll see what the Texas Bullwhip can do running down this track.
It just takes so much horsepower to get that thing down and get this sled down, and it'll be interesting to see where he can go with the 2-engine combination. All right, he is now taking the slack out of the chain, and he'll get the green flag and get ready to hit it in the Astrodome.
Boy, those back wheels really spinning.
Just doesn't have enough power. He's just not able to stretch it out. Giving it a great shot and a great run, but not quite able to get it up there into contention for the win. Looks like he's going to come in at about 210.
210.36 to be exact, and still the only one over 300 feet is Rodney Martin, 304.8, and he is the man to beat. As you see again, what you said, just not enough horsepower to get down this racetrack.
Now, he's giving it his best shot and really able to get it past the 200-foot mark, which is respectable. But, again, it's just not up there with the top contenders today, and it's a question of horsepower.
One of my favorites here, unnamed. Brett Berg. Let's give him a name.
Brett doesn't think he needs a name. He's going to let the pull-in sled hear from him without a name. He's just going to try and take it on out of here. Seriously, Brett Berg is one of the best in the business, so it'll be interesting to see if he can get up there in that 300-foot range to, try and challenge Rodney Martin at this point in the game.
Hails from Farmington, Minnesota. Brett Berg trying to shoot for that mark of 300 feet. Let's see if he can get it.
A little bit of a spin at the starting line might cost him at the back end. Let's see. Not bad, but not good enough to be with the big boys. There it is, 265.86. Should be good enough for a top 4 or 5 finish, but it's not enough to make it up into the top spot.
Our unlimited dragster tractor pulls, and so far, Rodney Martin has been the fastest as we take a look again at Brett Berg in unnamed.
They're trying to find different lines, too. A track will go away at different points, and that's going to continue to be in play. He tried to move a little bit further over than some of the other tractors. There may just not be a whole lot out there. Berg normally is among the best.
We've got a lot more here to come on TNN's Motor Madness Monster Jam. More pulling next.
Wars, tractor pulling, street warriors, sand drags, and more. All your monster truck favorites come calling, including Gravedigger, Monster Patrol, Barefoot, and the Carolina Crusher.
Ready for more unlimited dragster tractor pulls already. Rodney Martin set the distance to beat, 304.8 feet. Gary Dickman's going to try to get it here.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, that 304.8 may stand. That is one heck of a pull. But Rat Poison's got the horses. Let's see if Gary Dickman can get him down to the track. Rat Poison out of Toledo, Ohio, looking for green from the track officials to take his shot in the Astrodome.
Notice the concentration on these guys' faces. This is not easy to get a good start.
Boy, he's getting wobbly. He's really taking off, zigging and zagging. And look out, he's out of bounds. I'm sure he red flagged. I couldn't catch the official. There he is. He came in and red flagged. And once you cross that white line, it's a DQ automatically.
With all that weight pushing you in the back, it's not easy to hang on and go in a straight line.
Yeah, and again, you got to remember also, he's got his front wheels in the air, which is what you want. To get it to straighten out when it starts to go out of bounds, you literally have to bring the front end down and touch it to the track. And look, he never really does it until it's too late. Now he's already zigging out of bounds, and he can't get it stopped.
You have to get going straight, because if you don't, you're just totally out of control, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Absolutely.
Steve Klingenberg out of Michigan, bad habit. I wouldn't say it's such a bad habit. It's kind of fun.
We're having a good time here in Motor Madness as Klingenberg pulls to the sled. Once again, there's another tractor that's got the capabilities, the driving experience, and the talent to take a run at Rodney Martin. But I want to make sure you're aware, that is a dandy pull, and I don't think this track's getting any better. You know, I think that maybe the guys early on got a little bit cleaner track to work with, no ruts, no grooves. Klingenberg's got to find a nice spot in this dirt and then make it stick, keep it straight, and get all the power to the ground.
Klingenberg waiting for that green flag. He's hooked up to the weight sled.
Awful lot of spin on the line that time. Let's see if he can get it moving. Drifting left.
He's got the same problem that Gary had.
He's out of bounds. All of a sudden, they're trying to pick a slot. They're looking at the track, trying to pick the spot they think they're going to be able to get the smoothest run, but obviously they're not able to keep it in bounds when they do that because they're taking an angle.
Yeah, we saw Gary Dickman go out of bounds to the right. Here comes Steve Klingenberg. He goes out of bounds to the left. Really no way to straighten that tractor out without giving up the whole thing.
What they're wanting to do is start from one side and slowly drift towards the center. They think that's the best way to go here late in the competition. In both cases, with Rat Poison and with Bad Habit, the angle has just been too severe, and once they started carrying out of bounds, there's nothing they could do.
It's time now for the top gun, Trent DeClark. He's out of Illinois. And does Top Gun have anything at all for Rodney Martin? It's quite a task to beat here, 304.8. Boy, look at the front end up in the air there.
Now, he went back to the center, but he's even drifting left now. And DeClark, he just finally, kind of fortunately, shut it down before he went out of bounds. He was drifting as well. So a lot of the guys toward the end trying to use a little different technique, but boy, it sure didn't work. Rodney Martin got such a straight, beautiful shot early on, and he made it stick.
Top Gun, 247.47. You see, almost can sense the disappointment.
Nonetheless, Rodney Martin, there you see it, that 304.8 stood up throughout the entire event.
Doug Downs, Brett Berg, second and third in our Unlimited Dragster Tractor Pulls. Well, it's time for us now to go down to Dan Moriarty. He's got more about the jargon involved in this sport.
These guys, I gotta tell you, they've got a lingo all their own. Well, it's the monster truck world. It's their world. Welcome to it. Okay, one thing you'll notice on monster trucks versus other types of racing, our brakes are on the pinion, on the drive shaft. So the brakes are 24 times stronger on the pinion than they are on the wheels. We've tried wheel brakes, but we just can't stop the trucks as fast. That's the trick. Okay, what this is it does two odd things. This is the upshift button, and each time I push it, the transmission is a 4-speed transmission. Each time I push it, it sends a signal to the transmission and shifts it up. And when I want to downshift, you go over to this button, and each time you shift it, it goes down also. The toggle switch is the rear steering. So when I'm going into a turn, and I'm turning the steering wheel to the left, you just push the button, make sure I got the power off, turn the button to the left and let off of it, and it automatically goes back straight.
in straight line racing, where you want to keep both hands on the steering wheel, you can also activate the transmission with the steering wheel.
Quite a lot of work for the drivers in the cockpits of these machines. Hey, we got sand drag side by side when we come back on Monster Jam. Drag racing now, it's really a fan favorite, Scott, this side-by-side sand drag series.
Pound for pound, as powerful as anything you'll find in the world of motorsports. Ultra-light vehicles, ultra-powerful engines, and Jeremy Finley, the S-Kicker, one of the best.
Jeremy Finley will be battling the Paperboy Express, Scott Snarsky.
He's out of Illinois going up against the West Virginia bandit there, Jeremy, and oh, a great shot out of the hole for the S-Kicker. I'll tell you, Finley is outstanding.
Well, Dan Moriarty is caught up with Jeremy Finley, who got this off to a great start here tonight.
Wow, man, you're flying out there.
Yeah, it's a pretty quick pass. Hopefully the car says what it does.
How's it feel?
I felt real good.
What are you doing to the car to make it go so fast?
We leaned the fuel down a little bit, gave it a little more boost.
How's the track moving?
It's in good shape.
You like it out here?
Oh, yeah, sand's nice.
Way to go, Wild Man.
All right, Wild Man Dan Moriarty himself here getting ready for the Blue Bayou and the Red Devil.
Donnie Mars brings the Blue Bayou out of Tickfan, Louisiana, and Dave Hunt behind the wheel out of Anna, Texas in the Red Devil. There you see Mars pulling up, and again, these things are over in 2 seconds or less. Awesome power.
Well, that's tight, but it's Blue Bayou, Donnie Mars. And you're right, it's very quick here, and that you have to really watch that tree and get a great start.
Absolutely. If you're sitting there sleeping at the line, you're dead.
Richter Scale with Dan Richter and Kim Reaction, Steve Behrman, ready to go.
A couple of folks out of the Midwest. Richter's from Franklin, Wisconsin, and Behrman out of Holland, Michigan, as they'll go to the line. Now, one of the tricks, obviously, is to be very quick with your anticipation. As you were just talking about a moment ago, when you watch that Christmas tree, when that thing hits green, you've got to be full throttle. You can't wait.
Looked like Kim Reaction to me. Steve Behrman, your winner on that drag run, and it's so very fast and very quick here. It is who can get off that line the best. That's who the winner is going to be.
As there is in so many different forms of motorsports, especially in drag racing type sports, it's the whole shot, and it certainly was there. Chemical Reaction just exploded off the line. You get a couple of length lead off the line, you should win the race on a course like this.
We see this crowd here at the Astrodome tonight. They love this action. Other action, the boss, Kevin Browner against Lightfoot. Bill Odenwild, Lightfoot was the winner here. Here's Mud Spider, Bill Hazelwood against Magnum Force, Henry Mattingly. And Mud Spider and Bill Hazelwood just nose out Mattingly in Magnum Force. We've got still more to come on TNN's Motor Madness Monster Jam. Stay with us.
I see trees.
97 right here in Houston, and King Crunch was strong in an early run. Wild Thing had some wild times.
Tony Farrell gets up on his side, and you can see the whole thing breaks, and over she goes. At the end of the night, it was Tom Mintz and the Monster Patrol on top in the Astrodome.
And then the freestyling. You gotta love it. Predator, little monster wheelie. That's having some fun. Gravedigger didn't have much fun, rolled over. Hey, let's get down again to Dan Moriarty.
Now, if you think mowing your lawn takes a long time, maybe you should trade it in for one of these bad boys. Lawn mower drag racing. I'm serious. I gotta ask you though, what is that all about? What is it all about racing lawnmowers?
It's about going fast on a small budget.
How fast do these go?
Our fastest ones go about 70 miles an hour and 150 feet.
What's the fastest that anybody's gone from point A to point B in 150 feet?
3.25 seconds.
What do you do to take a lawnmower from cutting your grass and make it a racer?
Well, first you got to talk your wife out of it. Then you throw the blades away, and then you go through the engine just like you would a car. These machines are board, balanced, blueprinted. I mean, anything you do to a car, you do the same thing to a lawnmower motor.
So how do you get one, though, to go faster than the other ones if you're all dealing with the exact same thing?
I won't tell that secret.
All right, so it's all locked and sealed in the mayonnaise jar.
Exactly. Everybody got their own little trick up their sleeve.
Hey, Scott, I want one of those, and you can come test it out in my front yard. How about
I just can't believe the guy said that his wife actually let him take the blades off. How they cutting the grass now?
How you like this crowd? 52,000 here at the Astrodome, and they love their motorsports. They love a lot of things here in Houston. It's been said everything is bigger in Texas. Never more true than in Houston, Texas' largest city. When the trucks come calling, there's only one address, the Astrodome, 8th wonder of the world, home to the Astros, and formerly the Oilers. Come on! Best known for the largest rodeo and livestock show on the planet.
On an international level, we are by far the largest rodeo in the world. There is no other rodeo that comes close to us.
And that's saying a mouthful. Cheyenne, Las Vegas, and Calgary staking claims as world-famous rodeo venues. The Astrodome has hosted the rodeo since 1966, along with the Astro Hall, built by HLSR at the same time. 30-plus years later, even this huge stadium is cramped.
To be honest, we've outgrown the Astrodome and the Astro Hall. If we get an NFL team in Houston, which we'll know pretty quickly, we'll be building a new dome that'll hold some 70,000. We'll have a retractable roof right next to this dome.
2 domes in Houston, maybe in the future. But for now, the Astrodome is the only game in town, and the residents show up by the millions.
How big is the show? We'll have about 1,800,000 people show up to view the livestock, the exhibits, attend the rodeo. About 1.1 million will actually go into the Astrodome to see the rodeo. And we'll generate a lot of money for scholarships.
$7.75 million has been earmarked for this year's scholarships, a number that rises for every edition of the rodeo. What is the key to the success of the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo? The answer is much the same for the USHRA.
Well, we're entertainment, and it is entertainment. We draw a lot of the same type of people that come out, want to see the event, and we're pure entertainment.
Still to come, we're going to hook up the sleds. More dragster tractor pulling on Monster Jam. Welcome back to the Astrodome, and there are a lot of happy fans here. Yeah, see themselves and are excited about being a part of this Monster Jam, as are we, and we're getting ready for the dragster tractor pull-off between Doug Downs and Rodney Martin.
The top 2 qualified for the pull-off. Now remember, Downs was a little short of Martin's run earlier, but he gets a chance to make up for it. He wins the pull-off. He wins the whole event. Whoa, the transfer case is going the other way. That sled is completely broke. Look out, it gave him a shove at the end.
Wow.
My goodness. The
That'll
chain
get you whiplash in a hurry.
Absolutely. There's a huge chain cable that holds the transfer case, and look at everything just fly up. And now watch, the transfer case comes and just blasts him. Whoa, I'm going to tell you. Thank goodness Downs didn't get hurt on that. That's all that weight just rocketing into the back of his tractor.
Well, that now creates a problem for what we're going to do with this pull-off. To find out what is going to happen, let's go down now to Dan Moriarty. Dan?
Tell me what just happened.
Well, something that very seldom ever happens. We have the best sled in the country working for us here, but we had a sled break. The main chain that makes the box up broke, and that's all I can say.
So now what happens to the rest of the night of racing?
Okay, we had 2 tractors in a pull-off. Continue the show, we would have had to bring in another sled, which is here. The driver of this tractor hurt himself. He would probably have to come back. He would have to come back and run again. He's very shaken up. It wouldn't be fair to him to come back and lose after that, so we decided to just call it a class, split the money, call it a show.
So for safety purposes also, we got to shut things down.
That's correct.
Now, what you just saw happen, you said, doesn't happen very often, if at all. What causes something that wild to happen?
Well, when you got tractors running that fast, it's an awesome track. and things break. I mean, we inspect these sleds just like we inspect vehicles. We look them all over good, you know, it passed inspection, but when you got mechanical things like that, things can break.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Well, I think that's a great call, because if you saw Doug Downs the way he was shaking around, he has to be shaken up a bit.
Well, and you're going to see at the end of the run here, once it breaks, he doesn't really realize what's going on. The last thing you expect when you're pulling on your tractor, he's trying to stop before he hits the wall. Now he's going to get blasted.
Just watch Doug Downs. Doug Downs now down with Dan.
Doug Downs, you've been doing this for how long?
This is my 4th year out.
Has this ever happened before?
No, I've never broke a chain. I tell you what, I looked over at one of my crew guys to see if he could give me some indication of what had happened. I knew I was moving way too fast. I hit my brakes, sled come up and hit me one more time, and lucky we could get her shut down in time. We was moving awful fast.
In all the years you've watched this, not only just participated, but just been around the sport, have you ever seen this happen?
No, I haven't. I'll tell you what, it's just thank goodness that Vaughn and everybody knew what was going on and we could just get her hold it in time.
And you're feeling okay overall?
Yeah, I'm fine. I got a good restraint in there and everything's in real good shape.
A little shaken up on something like that?
I'll tell you what, I don't know how fast I was moving, but we were really flying, and it takes a lot of fast thinking.
Doug, we're happy to have you. Way to go, buddy.
Thank you.
Yeah, fast thinking on the part of Doug Downs. Glad he's okay.
Absolutely. You know, some great pulling action coming up January 23rd in Indianapolis, and 2 days of pulling action January 29th and 30th in Charleston, West Virginia.
That should be exciting. We had some exciting action here tonight. You know, exciting barely describes the 98 U.S. off-road season. 9 points separated the winners and losers in 4 of the 5 categories. Johnny Greaves dominated stadium sports trucks until the final weeks of the season. Larry Bayer outdueled Pete Soren for the title in Michigan, with Bayer beating Soren by 2 points. Corey Witherell started at Pontiac, a point behind super modified buggies leader Larry Fodrell. Corey finished the day 3 points ahead. Shane Hitt didn't win a race all year, but led the Pro Quad Series until the last race. Missed the championship by 2 points to Mark Earhart, who won 2 races on the year. And in another tight points battle, Parker, Arizona's Joe Price beat out a hard-charging Richard Kosar to win the Stadium Lights Series. Brian Spud Walters looked quite the stud with his dominance of the Thunder Bikes category this year, winning it going away with 808 points with 4 wins and 3 seconds in 7 events. Even the Yankees didn't have a season like that. And hey, tomorrow night, these guys will all be at the Metrodome in Minneapolis. We'll be back at the Astrodome in a moment.
Standouts Buddy Antunes and Chad Pedersol. Check out all the action, including the U.S. Off-Road Championship Series, the Thunder Nationals, and professional bull riding starring Tough Hedeman.
Ready for the finals in sand dragsters. Scott, we got a lonesome run here.
Well, getting ready for the shootout, it's going to be interesting because Jeremy Finley brings out the S-kicker, but since the Paperboy Express broke, he will actually make the run by himself. That means he just got to totally concentrate, which you'd be doing anyway, but he doesn't know what's going on beside him, and sometimes that gets you a little extra edge. You're not running to beat the guy beside you, you're running against the clock. But you know, if you beat the guy beside you, you got a better shot. Boy, that was a great run, though. He didn't care.
He got off the line great, and
wow.
Look at the time. It reflects it.
Better than anybody's run in the first round at 1.664 for Jeremy Finley.
Now we have Dan Richter aboard Richter scale and Steve Behrman in chemical reaction. Again, as you say, they're racing against the clock.
Yeah, they'll race against the clock and each other. But the bottom line right here is they've both got to try to beat Jeremy Finley's 1.664, so they better come ready. There's Steve Behrman in chemical reaction. He's out of Holland, Michigan, as he takes to the line against the Richter scale. And again, this thing's going to be over in less than 2 seconds.
Again, they have to focus and really watch that tree. Start is so critical here.
You'll see the times come up when the end of the run, 1.664. That's the magic number right now. You got to beat that to win. I didn't think either one of them got off the line all that great. They were good runs, but the Richter scale just a little bit short at 1.692.
And Jeremy Finley looking awfully strong in the S-kicker in the sand drags. Look at it again.
Again, there's a little bit of a wobble at the beginning. They didn't seem to get great starts. The times were good, but again, they couldn't overtake Finley, who's 1.664, is going to be the championship run here in the Astrodome.
Jeremy Finley out of Bluefield, West Virginia, looking awfully strong and running by himself. Let's take a look at these final results in the sand drag.
It is the S-kicker, Jeremy Finley, the champion, winning it over Dan Richter and Steve Behrman. Starsky finishes fourth because he couldn't make it to the shootout.
Well, it's time for us once again to go down and visit with our friend, Dan Moriarty.
Well, it affects your ride, where the seat is positioned. My seat is in the exact center of the truck. So when it's rocking back and forth, you know, you're in the exact center. It's not like being on one end of a seesaw or something. You know, if you're sitting in the middle of the seesaw, you know, it barely moves there in the center, but yet on the ends, you know, it might move 5 or 6 feet. And the same goes to with the way the seat is positioned in the truck. It's in the exact center, so the ride isn't as rough as it actually looks like. You know, you're at the pivot point of the truck. The ride is better, and not only that, it's just the more room you have around you. You know, I just feel more secure and more comfortable, you know, in the truck in the center seat.
Still to come, we have got the finals of the monster trucks. Scott, I think we got a great showdown between Barefoot and Gravedigger.
It's really a flip a coin. Barefoot's been awesome all night, but I learned a long time ago, never pick against the Gravedigger.
It's going to be tough to choose either one of these. They both have a lot of power, but coming up next on TNN Motor Madness Monster Jam, we'll have the Monster Finals. Pitbull. You know what they say about big feet. Big shoes. In this case, really big shoes.
How high is that?
Huge tire. It's 66 inches tall.
Look at how tiny that is in the big picture.
Yeah, and it's 43 inches wide. As long as he unloads the bears, yeah, you don't argue with him. Roughly, they weigh right around 800 to 900 pounds.
No sneakers ever made could hold the 4 feet this massive monster carries around. Todd FROLIK is the master of this monster truck. You can believe it, these tires are smaller than the originals.
This part right here is knocked off so that, because the tire used to be way out to here, so when you come into a corner, that would all hook, want to flip you over.
Flipping over, the great fear of all monster masters. What does it feel like to end up on the roof?
Man, you're driving the whole time. I just rolled it about 2 months ago, and when I was on my roof, I was still driving the damn thing. You know, I know it's coming back up. Just give me a second here, and we'll get this back on our wheels and continue on.
The fans love the rollovers, but successful jumps and donuts are just as much fun.
They like the noise, the excitement, just like we do, you know. This has been exciting from the time you roll into town, you know. It just starts building till the time you shut it off at night, you know. It just builds.
But what do the fans really want to know? What it feels like driving the biggest Barefoot of all.
Man, I don't know. It's hard to describe. You know, some days it's fear, not knowing what's over that next hill. Some days it's just pure excitement, you know. You know it's coming and it's all fun.
With feet like this, how hard is it to wipe your shoes when you come home?
I don't know. I better call my mom. She keeps telling me to grow up, so.
Go ahead. Go shred.
This is just an awesome combination, though. You know, one of the most talented young drivers in FROLIK teaming up with the Barefoot team.
And there is PABLO HUFFAKER in Gravedigger. He is going up against Todd and Barefoot here in the finals. This is a great show.
Yeah, and like a horse race, Gravedigger is your quick breaker, your speed horse that's going to move quickly and move to the lead. But Barefoot's the closer. You've seen how strong he has been throughout this event on the back half of the course. If Barefoot wins it, it'll be on that last jump.
But we'll see. And PABLO and Gravedigger have to get off to a good start.
Oh, Barefoot got him out of the... Wow. Unbelievable. Barefoot got him out of the hole.
And here comes that power that we see in Barefoot. Oh, my! What a run for Barefoot!
Something was wrong with Gravedigger from the get-go. He did not get a great run, and it looks like he's not even going to finish the course. Terrible break.
And congratulations, though, to Todd FROLIK and Barefoot. What a performance here in Houston tonight.
He was awesome all night long, and especially once he makes the turn, coming for home, nobody's got as much as Todd FROLIK. And right there, you see Gravedigger's done, and Barefoot's flying.
Flying indeed. That 1998 Dodge Ram. What a performance here, and what excitement from Todd FROLIK.
Now that's a souvenir every fan would like to take home from the show.
Yeah, as we see Todd again, tremendous horsepower. Our Dan Moriarty has caught up with our winner tonight, Todd FROLIK.
Todd, you want him in the finals, you got him in the finals. Unfortunately, it didn't go all the way to the rope, but...
Yeah, it was close coming into the corner. Like I said all along to him, he's got the horsepower. I think I might have had him all the way, but you never know. It's tough luck when you go out like that. I know he's disappointed. He wanted to freestyle for the fans fair in Houston. We were talking about it out back. We were ready to tear this place up.
Good man, congratulations.
Thanks, appreciate it.
That was a great, great race.
Well, and something happened to Gravedigger and Pablo HUFFAKER, and Dan's down with Pablo right now, and let's find out just what happened on that run.
Pablo, what happened?
Well, when I pulled the line, they hit the RII. The battery took a dump on me, I guess, and the plates internally shorted out, and the thing didn't want to refire. They put jumper cables on it. It fired back up. I knew right then, though, I was going to have a problem. My voltage was going to be low, and my rev limiter was going to be kicking in early, and my ignition system was going to shut down, but I went ahead and made a run for it anyhow, and the batteries just totally shut down as I came through that last turn and shut the motor off when they did that.
I mean, when you hit that turn, there was two trucks that were neck and neck. You really hit those turns exactly together.
Yeah, I think if our truck had been 100% then, or even 50%, that'd been a lot closer race at the finish. I mean, I lost all my power as soon as I came out of the turn and put my foot off in it on account of the ignition system shutting down.
Thanks, Pablo. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You got it.
Tough break for Pablo, but we had a lot of fun here tonight.
A lot of fun. And remember, you can catch live monster truck action tomorrow night in Anaheim, Indianapolis, Tampa, and Toronto.
And that'll do it for us here in the Astrodome. For Dan Moriarty and Scott Douglas, I'm Mike Hogwood. Our congratulations to Barefoot, our big winner. So long, everybody. Enjoy the jam.
Hey, are you guys brothers? Because this is Hall Brothers Racing. Who drives the truck? Can I drive?
No. Are you nuts?
When you get up that high, do you get a nosebleed?
No, never.
We go into it, it's like we leave our brains in the trailer sometimes.
And that's a wrap. Jack, baby.